Hello, today we're going to talk about how to know which way your needle goes into your sewing machine. Hopefully by the end of this video you will be able to put your needle into your sewing machine regardless of what type of sewing machine you are using. So without further ado, let's get into it. In the early days of the sewing machine, each manufacturer had a needle for its specific brand. And all of these different brands also had different ways of describing their size needle. And this became extremely confusing for end users. So there was an international agreement made to standardize all sewing machine needles. Today, home sewers are still using the same needle that was agreed upon in the international agreement so long ago. And that is a 15x1 needle. One side of it is rounded with a long groove running along it where your thread actually runs through. And then on the opposite side of the needle, it is flat and there is a short groove, and that is also important. I have given you a basic understanding of the needle and the anatomy of the needle itself. That is thing number one to understand. But now it is important to understand the actual anatomy of the sewing machine itself, because without that understanding, you cannot figure out how to put the needle inside of the sewing machine. So I'm going to run through this as quickly as possible. First and foremost, all three of these sewing machines look extremely different. However, they are all exactly the same in their mechanics. You have a spool pin here where your thread goes on all three machines. You also have a number one thread guide where the thread guides through in order to make its way down to the needle on all three machines. It's right there on that one. Then on this one, it is here. Next, you have a disc that the thread has to go through in order to have the right tension. The disc on this machine is here, but you can't see it because it's hidden by this little plastic thing. On this one, the disc is right there. Let me see if I can close up so you can see. The disc is right there. You can see it very well. It's what it looks like on this machine too, but you just can't see it because it's not visible. And then you have another one here. You can't see it either because it's hidden by this piece here. The next thing on the path is the thread take-up lever, which is this guy right here. It has to come through here because the thread take-up lever is what pulls the thread from the spool, the correct amount of thread from the spool, in order for it to be able to go down and into the bobbin area, which we're going to talk about a bit later. That take-up lever is right here on this machine, and then on this machine, it is right there. Next, you have your actual needle bar. And on this machine, you can see the needle bar going up and down because I am turning the hand wheel so that you can see that. Okay, you have the same thing on this machine here and on this one. And a little later, this needle bar is going to become more important. But for right now, I'm just explaining the basic mechanics to you. And I'm going to open this door here. And this is where your actual bobbin goes. And there is a hook inside of here, but you can't really see it that well because it's inside of the machine. And I would really have to take the hook out in order for you to be able to see that well. But I'm going to show you a hook that I've taken out of another machine so that I can demonstrate. This is the hook right here. And this is extremely important because it takes your bobbin, which, let me grab a bobbin here. This is a bobbin case from another machine, but the bobbin goes right there and it pulls thread from the bottom, and the hook meets with the thread from the needle and it forms a loop that ultimately makes the stitch on your machine. So it is extremely important that the correct part of the needle meets with the hook in order to form the stitch. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Now on this brother, the hook looks extremely different, but it is the same, I promise you. This right here is like your bobbin case on your modern day machine. And then down in here, please excuse the filth, I haven't cleaned it. that right there is your hook. Right about there. That's your hook. Okay, so same basic mechanism, okay? The flat side of your needle really needs to be up against the hook because that's what's going to create the right amount of tension that you need in order to form the loops that make your stitch. On this Brother sewing machine, the hook is right there underneath where my finger is. So I need to make sure that the flat side of the needle is facing it in order to cause it to form a loop. So it needs to go in this way. On this Singer 15 sewing machine, it's a little difficult to see inside of there and see the hook, but I'm trying to focus it so that you can see the hook is right there where I'm touching with the needle. So that means that the flat side of the needle needs to face the outside of the machine. On the third machine, which is this Bernina here, the hook is located right there. So that means that the needle needs to face this way so that the flat side of the needle can sit up against that hook. Now I'm going to teach you a secondary way to understand how the needle is supposed to go inside the sewing machine. So you see this needle bar right here that we talked about earlier that goes up and down to bring that needle up and down? Well, along the needle bar, there is a groove, like right there. If your groove is facing towards the front, then the flat side of the needle goes towards the back. So that means that that flat side should fit in like so. Now on this machine here, which is a Singer sewing machine, as you can see, that flat side on the needle bar is located on the right hand side. So that means that the flat side of the needle will face outward. So we had it correct the first time when we said that the flat side of the needle needed to go towards the outside of the machine. On this Brother sewing machine, it is the same thing. So as you can see, that needle bar hole is right there on the front of the machine. So which way does the needle go, guys? You got it correct. The flat side of the needle faces the back of the machine. Okay, so I think you've gotten a good understanding of how the needle goes in the machine. I'm going to give you a fourth machine to see and let you decide which way the needle actually goes into the machine. And if you get it right, that is wonderful. That means that you learned something from this video. If you enjoyed my video so far, please do subscribe and tap that notification bell to receive updates. Now, let's get to the fun part where I test you on which way the needle goes inside of this machine. So the hook to this machine is right there. And I'm just turning the hand wheel so you can get a good idea. So now let's take a look at the needle bar to see which way that little groove is. So as you can see, the little groove is on the left side of the machine. So based on the location of the hook and the location of the needle bar groove, which way does this needle go inside of the machine? If you guess that the needle flat side faces the inside of the machine, then you're correct. It goes in this way with the flat side facing the inner part of the machine, because that way the needle actually sits up against that hook so that it can make contact. Oh, one other thing, don't forget to tighten up your needle with this little thumb screw when you do put it in your machine. I wouldn't have any of you, the beginner sewers out there, to have any mishaps because they forgot to tighten this up. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to receive more sewing related content. Peace.